Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at the Cell Max event and how you can beat the Cell Max event without having your own Piccolo or your own LR Gohan or your own LR anything. No Trunks, no Gohan, no Piccolo, no movie heroes. Yeah, Goku, no Cooler, no nothing. None of the really good LRs at all. You're going to be able to beat it without using any of them. And simply put, it's by literally using only Piccolo. So we're using a friend Piccolo as our friend lead, and this is the secret to success. There's a couple reasons for this. One, Piccolo is very strong. An incredibly powerful unit, arguably #1 unit in the game. Not only is he a fantastic first slot tank, but he can do really decent damage with his high attack stats and a full crit build. But it's not only that, it's not only the fact that of course he is a pretty good unit himself, but it's the fact that of course he is an advantageous character in this event. And for those of you who do not know, advantageous characters are of course the greatest invention to ever come to Dokkan. I love them, they are my favorite thing, but essentially they are units that will just do better in an event than other units. So it is important to obviously have a good old Piccolo as your friend lead. Now obviously you want a 100% friend lead. It's not necessary, so in that sense you don't need to have it. You can very much just kind of, you do it with like a 55% or a 70% or anything like that. It is just a little bit more difficult. 100% one will have a higher attack stats, it doesn't need to crit so much, etc., but it is possible. And the secret to this success is fairly straightforward. You coast through the first 2 stages, you don't really do too much, of anything actually. And basically all you do is you get to the final stage against Tech Cell Max, and you do this really cool thing where you transform Piccolo into giant form. He kills Cell Max and you claim the victory. It's incredibly powerful, and you don't have to do anything. Like I said, you don't even need to summon very good units. In fact, you don't even need to operate under that great a team at all. You can in general just run pretty much the most average team you can to get through the first 2 stages. As long as Piccolo is running under the highest kind of lead you can, in this case I would 170% attack lead, you should be fine. Piccolo will carry the rest. Your main concern is making sure that if you don't have someone to delay the rotation like the AGL Paikuhan, you instead obviously have either him rock up first in the rotation, or you have some other alternative unit that you can use. And that's literally it. That is the entire kind of understanding and build behind getting the victory done. Now it's great that you can get the victory done, and you can even get the 5-turn challenge this way, just depending on how lucky you get with crits and with timings of all the other attacks. So it's pretty crazy. Honestly speaking, it's pretty nutty. Firstly, it's pretty crazy that Piccolo would be able to so easily handle Cell Max. Like obviously in the movies, he tanks him pretty well, but it is pretty crazy that they made a unit that is so good against him. And secondly, I think it is a whole bunch of crap that they basically have Piccolo be this good because of the advantageous categories. Like the thing is people don't realize it, but when Piccolo is throwing out a 3 million attack stat, that would usually do nothing against Cell Max in his giant form. The reason why it hurts Cell Max is because of the fact that he's advantageous, so he nullifies the damage reduction on Cell, and that's a huge thing. It's really one of the reasons why he can solo Cell Max. It's not to say that he's bad in any way, shape or form, but it's just more in talking to why he's so incredibly good at this portion of the game, at this event. So yeah, Honestly speaking, really cool. I think it's great that he's so powerful. I do think he is powerful. I do think he is definitely one of the top units in the game. So this has nothing really to do with saying that he's bad or that he's only good because of the advantageous thing. He's definitely good regardless of it. It's just the fact that basically it does really help him. Yeah, overall I do think for me, obviously this is a cool strategy to use. The rest of the team doesn't matter too much. I've kind of just gone with a standard Battle of the Wits team. If you can have Paikuhan just for the delay skill ability, it does help just in setting things up so that you obviously have Piccolo on rotation. And if you do have someone just to link up with them to give him his best links, either strength, orb changing Easy A Piccolo, or the physical Piccolo will do. It will help. It does help out a lot. So yeah, overall I do think for me at least that it's definitely something I would honestly like provide. At least for me, I think it's definitely something I'm personally happy with. I think he's incredible as a unit, by the way. I do think he is fantastic, and the fact that he himself is so strong is really impressive. But yeah, it's pretty nutty that his giant form can solo carry what previously was an event that was almost kind of like impossible to do. So it's pretty crazy. But yeah, overall I would say it's relatively decent stuff. Obviously, I think if you're a player that doesn't have access to necessarily these units, it will be difficult. You do need still a Battle of Wits category lead of some kind, or some way to run Piccolo as a lead. It doesn't have to be Battle of Wits, but it can be Powerful Comeback, for example. Powerful Comeback, and you just stick every other Powerful Comeback unit on the team. Like, it doesn't have to be the Battle of the Wits team, but more importantly, it's just the fact that you do need to kind of have, like, you do need to have like some kind of team for Piccolo to run it. You can't do it under his like just singular lead. He does need some kind of assistance and support. He's not just that much of an animal, and it's not to say that he's bad in any way, shape, or form. It's just that not even he can solo the event. I mean, if you've got him and another Piccolo, you can definitely solo the event, of course, and it does require a bit of luck. You do need the Piccolo giant form transformation to kind of last out its full duration. You do need a little bit of luck when it comes to like the overall damage of the unit, the amounts of super attacks, the amounts of additionals, but generally speaking, that's why I say if you bring a rainbow friend, you do tend to come out fine. You do tend to come out pretty good. But yeah, giant form helps out huge. Animation's great, by the way. I don't know what people are complaining about. I think it's freaking awesome. Giant form is huge. Like, you can just like, Cellmax is just not a challenge anymore, really. To be honest with you, he's just not that hard. With the ability to use Piccolo as a friend lead, and him being pretty much all you need, that's it. Like, like I said, you don't need Trunks and Vegeta. You don't need physical Ultimate Gohan. You don't need Piccolo. You don't need Cell. You don't need Gamma 1. You don't need Gamma 2. All you need is a friend lead Piccolo. That's literally it. That's everything you need. And you can beat the hardest event in the game. So yeah, it is pretty nuts. Whether, obviously I think the advantageous character thing comes into play. As you can see, as I mentioned before, he wouldn't be doing any damage if he wasn't an advantageous character. Like, he would be doing dramatically less damage, and I do think that needs to be noted as to why he does so well. Like, I think you saw the turn earlier. I did 3 attacks. Some attack effective against all types, some just standard attacks, all of several millions of damage, and nothing happened. Like, literally nothing happened. But Piccolo comes and does the 3 million attack stat, and all of a sudden he can do damage, and the boss takes notable damage, and that is because of the advantageous character's mechanism. So it is just important to note that, like I said, it's not the only reason why he's good. He is just innately good as a unit. So again, I don't want to knock Piccolo in any way, shape or form. He's a fantastic unit that I think a lot of players should hopefully pick up. I think Gohan's also fantastic, and yeah, I do think there's a great reason to use them. But as I mentioned, it is just super important, basically, that you do understand why he's doing so much damage and why he looks the way he does. But of course, I do think, in general, players will be pretty happy. As you can see, Piccolo is really just starting to do a huge amount of damage to Cell. Remember also, you will end up on the turn with Piccolo again. So you will be immediately back to the turn with Piccolo, who will then do even more damage to Cell Max. So yeah, that's literally the entire game plan here. It's really nothing too crazy. You can like see where all the damage is coming from. Piccolo is just slicing and dicing through Cell Max. He's doing his business, and generally speaking, we're really not having a problem at all. Max out turns of giant form as well. So yeah, nothing really else to say. Obviously, if you've been interested in doing the Cell Max event, maybe you need 10 stones or 5 stones, or maybe you're just desperate, you need a bit of a pick-me-up, you need the stones, you want to make one last second summon. You definitely can. You 100% can make those summons. You can definitely do that. Obviously, just with a little bit of perspective, it's not the greatest amount of stones, but it is something. And there are still the category challenges, like beating it with only artificial life forms, etc. But yeah, I think overall, you should be fine. You should be fine to go. I think generally speaking, you should be more than good to go. I can't see anyone who can't really pull off this strategy. Obviously, brand new players, if you're looking to like just kind of start the game and kind of cheese Cell Max, it's going to be a little bit hard, especially if you don't have a Battle of the Wits lead. But yeah, in general, you should be fine. You should be able to make it work relatively easily, at least from my perspective. Honestly speaking, I just found it to be so I was surprised when I realized how simple it had now become to beat Cell Max, considering the difficulty of him before as a unit, and just how like the whole mechanisms of like the event were made. Like everyone was super reliant on evasion because of how evasion works and how the boss worked and how all the mechanics work, and now just none of it means anything because of Piccolo. So it's always interesting to see this, whether this means there's going to be another huge power spike, when it comes to like the gameplay at the 8th anniversary. I don't know. It would be something I'm not a fan of. I don't really like when we are in a situation where we like have all these huge power spikes all the time, but it is understandable. With Piccolo single-handedly crushing what was previously the hardest event in the game, I think it is obviously something we do have to consider, because Piccolo is definitely very, very strong, and obviously being an advantageous character matters, but you can see him in a whole bunch of other content. He's just really, really strong. So yeah, but overall, really, really good stuff. I think that's everything you need to know. There you go. Now you know how to beat the Cell Max event. So there you go. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. But guys, thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, you can leave a like. Otherwise, I will see you guys in the next one. So until then, as always, take care, stay safe. And yeah, I really appreciate it that you guys watch the videos. And I hope to see you soon. But until then, bye.